Hello and welcome to a Monster Mechanics mini episode where we're going to be talking about broken telephone monsters. Now, I think we're going to have to explain the context on this one a little bit, right, Zach?
Yeah, a lot of myths and legends about monsters came about by someone's first encounter with an unknown creature. Mm-hmm. Now we probably know what that creature was, but at the time, it was this person's first time encountering this animal.
Yes.
And so they built up this narrative of what this thing was in their mind to explain it to other people. And so a lot of cryptids and monsters like that sort of sprang about from these initial first sightings.
Yeah, and you could imagine this being the source for a lot of like mermaid legends and things, where somebody sees something sort of off in the distance that's just a normal animal, and then they see it, don't quite understand what they're saying, and then when trying to relay it to someone else, the creature gets described a little bit and warped, and then that person describes it to someone else, and that gets a little warped. Mm-hmm. The most famous example is what's called the questing beast from Arthurian legends, which was described as having the head and neck of a snake, the body of a leopard, and the feet of a deer. And people have sort of backwards figured out that the origin of that idea was the giraffe, using the snake head and neck as to describe its long neck, the body of a leopard to describe its spots, and the feet of a deer to describe its hooved feet. But then when you see old depictions of it, it literally looks like somebody took a leopard body, put a snake head on it, and then have like hoofed feet on the bottom of it. It looks bizarre. You wouldn't guess a giraffe from the beginning of it. Mm-hmm. So you and I have prepped for this idea we have each chosen a mundane animal, a real life animal. And we are going to sort of role play in the roles of people who have not seen these before and are going to try to describe it to one another in hopefully the most bizarre way possible that will sound like some sort of mystical creature. And then the other person has got to guess. So I don't know what Zach has chosen, and Zach does not know what I have chosen. I think let's go ahead and start with, what is your beast, Zach?
All right. I'm going to tentatively call mine the Sea Revenant.
Okay.
So to set the stage, I don't know, 200-300 years ago.
Yeah.
We're picturing sort of a bunch of sailors out in the sea, and they've been perhaps they're armada or militia, something out in the sea, and they've been on the trail of this famous pirate. And this pirate has been, what he's really famous for is decapitating his victims, tossing their heads into the ocean.
Okay.
So these sailors have been hot on the heels of this pirate for a long time. They finally catch up with him and overwhelm his ship. They've got the captain cornered on his ship, and in the moment, they've got him cornered at the prow of the ship or whatever, and then he dives overboard just in a last-ditch attempt to escape justice, and in doing so, plunges into the sea and immediately comes up screaming as these ghostly, disembodied heads begin floating around him in the ocean. And after a moment, he seems to be dragged down with them as the heads, these translucent glowing heads kind of sink into the ocean with him, and he's never to be seen again. And so the sailors took this as a sign that justice from his victims had been met, that these sea revenants had dragged down their oppressor down to the sea.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to tell you mine, and then we're going to do the guessing at the end, I think.
Alrighty.
So I don't have a fancy name and or great story to go along with mine. I'm thinking the context is somebody from like an adventurer or traveler returning to their homeland, and they've come back to maybe like Africa or Australia or somewhere like that.
Okay.
And they're describing to their friends this creature that they'd had encounters with, and like about the size of a painted dog, like somewhere between a dog and a cat, and you can hear it laughing when they interact with one another. And they come in some varieties, like some of them look like they're made of fire, but then there's occasionally ones that look like they're made of smoke. And when he traveled far to the north, occasionally found varieties of them that were the color of clouds.
Okay.
Like vapor that had been made solid. And I described their playful noises as laughing because it sounds so much like it. But they're alarm noise is just this god awful screech. It's this horrible noise, very bad, and they're not particularly threatening, but they are definitely very hard to catch. They're very fleet-footed. Okay, so that's my version of it. Okay, so yours were floating heads in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You said
Yes.
specifically ocean, right?
Yes.
Okay. And glowing. That sounds like some sort of like either a cephalopod or some sort of jellyfish or something like that to me. To sort of describe the globular nature, like a head.
You pretty much got it. I was thinking of the sea wasp jellyfish, which is supposed to be kind of a like a translucent, like maybe 10 centimeters in diameter.
Oh yeah.
And they're supposed to have a very lethal sting.
Awesome. Cool. That's great. Yeah, that makes a great monster. We'll put a link to that in the show notes. All right. So what do you get? I bet you figured mine out. Mine's not hard.
Okay, so I'm thinking hyena.
No. I was okay. That was my one. That was me throwing.
I'm not
out.
actually familiar with the size of a painted dog, so I might be.
Yeah, I was trying to get. Okay, so mine was an exercise in decontextualizing. So
Okay.
the hint I will give you is that you are very familiar with this animal.
Okay.
It could be the color was described as being made of fire or smoke or cloud, and they are somewhere between a dog and a cat.
Yeah.
Would it help to say that they have a very big bushy tail?
Yeah. Fox.
Yes, there you go.
There you
The
go.
common
Okay.
fox, Vulpus vulpus. Yep.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, oh, could I take something that everybody will know, and then like, could I describe it in a way that sounds really weird?
But yeah, their distress cries are
Oh yeah.
downright upsetting.
Oh yeah. But if you want to hear, I'll put a link in the show notes to this lady has like a YouTube channel where she just got like some domesticated foxes and they make these adorable laughing noises. It's so great.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. We may have to revisit this idea sometime in the future because this is a great way to come up with like sort of off the wall ideas. I love it. So on that note, be prepared for next week's episode, which is about vampires. Bye.
All right. See you later.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Monster Mechanics. You can find links and show notes at our website, monsterpod.org, or if you'd like to support us, head on over to patreon.com/monsterpod. We can be found on Twitter at monstermpod, or you can email us at monstermechanicspodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. Monster Mechanics is produced and edited by Scott Paladin. This episode was hosted by Scott Paladin and Zach Jaquays. All of the ideas produced during this podcast are released under a do what the fuck you want public license.